I've been hearing a strange thing lately. A few level-headed people who say a lot of things I agree with have said,
Logan Paul? I know that he changed a lot in recent years, but...
Has he? When I looked into it, I saw what seemed like a general consensus that, yes, Logan has changed. Many even went so far as to say he was reformed and a good person now. There was even an Insider article talking about it that says he now makes popular, more innocuous videos about Pokemon cards, and, as his song 2020 points out, he got through the whole of last year without a major scandal. Wow, amazing! I'm so happy for you, Logan. So did I! And although OxyContin is more innocuous than heroin, you probably shouldn't give either of them to your 6-year-old to help them sleep. And much like OxyContin to heroin, Logan Paul is simply a similar but sanitized version of his old self.
You use the word controversial.
Yes.
Just so you know, I am an ex-controversial YouTuber. That's
Correct.
it's no longer me.
Logan, you are my hero. You mean the world to me.
This one's quick and easy. Dink Doink was a shitcoin that he advertised to his fans, and CryptoZoo was a collection of what seems to be some 2-minute Photoshop image collages. Zero effort, zero value, and they both immediately failed, losing his fans a bunch of money that they presumably might have actually worked for, rather than popping open MS Paint and Google image searching a picture of an elephant. When promoting Dink Doink, he failed to disclose the fact that he made it, claiming to be an interested but unaffiliated investor. I don't know what went absurdly wrong, Mr. Paul said in an interview. That's the project from hell, and I just wiped my hands of it. Oh well good, he wiped his hands of it. He sure is great at taking accountability, so next time you commit felony mass marketing fraud, just wipe your hands of it, and the feds will have nothing. Then comes CryptoZoo, which he claimed had a massive team and $1 million out of his own pocket, and... well, I'll let coffeezilla take this part.
I set my preconceived notions about Logan aside. I said, hey, maybe he really tried on this one. Maybe he's really giving this one a fair shake. So I went to check out what $1 million game looks like. I went to their Instagram, and to my surprise, the photos of CryptoZoo are basically a bunch of stock photos from Adobe that have been poorly photoshopped, ladies and gentlemen.
I wonder if I could get Coffee on. He does sometimes collab with our team at Legal Eagle. Hold on, I'm gonna call Devin. Hello, Devin? So I was wondering if you'd tell What's that? You want me to stop asking you to ask other YouTubers if they'll be on my channel? Well, I didn't realize if you wanted to be on my channel so bad, I would've just... What's that? That's not what you meant? What's that? I'm not allowed to pretend to be on the phone with you? What's that? Get back to work? Anyway, Logan scammed you again, and the project died almost immediately. Remember back when NFTs were first getting big? You probably heard that they were kind of like trading cards if trading cards were made of lies instead of cardboard. But what if trading cards were like NFTs, but made of cardboard instead of lies?
Logan, you are my hero. You help inspire me.
This whole hullabaloo has two parts, both alike in lack of dignity. The purchase and the scam. The TCG collecting game is plagued with fraud. One of the biggest auction houses for nerd-ass collectible shit works with one of the biggest grading companies for nerd-ass collectible shit to inflate the grades of their nerd-ass collectible shit and make the people in charge a bunch of fraudulent cash. Auction houses also allegedly hold anonymous auctions where alleged bad actors allegedly sell items to themselves in order to allegedly make it look like the alleged collectibles are allegedly extremely valuable and allegedly create speculative demand for them. Allegedly. This spurs people to sell their nerd-ass collectible shit at a specific auction house when they see that it somehow always pulls the best prices. Now, as far as I know, Logan Paul isn't directly in on this, except for the fact that he's making these problems worse by doing the scammer's job for them. Playing into the false premise that any of these cards are worth anything close to what they say, and further driving up prices for no reason in a way that is unsustainable and exclusionary. If all rare Pokemon cards are worth $1 million, barely anyone could collect them, leaving the whole supply for people who have obscene disposable wealth. Maybe we could be generous and say that this was an honest mistake, and that he didn't know how much this is fucking things up. First of all, he should have known. It's not unreasonable to expect someone to do some research before spending millions of dollars on Pokemon cards. I mean, most of us have to do research before spending thousands or even hundreds of dollars. And it's pretty easy to find information on how speculative bubbles ruin collecting. So to be clear, Logan is engaging in speculative investment, a pretty scummy thing to do in general, likely with the intent of market manipulation. And you better believe he's gonna cash out before the bubble pops. And I'm sure some of his fans will be stuck holding the bag. But second is what happened after he bought it. He told his fans that they could buy shares of the Pikachu card. That is, his fans pay him money, and on the off chance that the price goes up, and just remember all bubbles pop, he and his fans would make a return on it. This is the kind of thing that passionate collectors really seem to fucking hate. He's putting the card in a safe. He won't have access to it, nor will anybody else, except for probably some sketchy third party. I mean, at that point, it might as well not exist. It's bringing joy to no one, it's doing nothing. It may as well be a piece of paper with $5 million written on it. Logan Paul is not a collector, and he is not a hobbyist. He is a fucking grifter. He looks at that card and just sees dollars and clout incarnate. And the Guinness World of Records are even worse than the auction house. Guinness is a book of unethical publicity stunts. They chronically sell records to autocratic strongmen who use those records to strengthen their cults of personality. And now they've added one more unethical publicity stunt. Speaking of publicity,
If I ever met you, I give you a great big hug.
while I was writing this video, I found an article that's basically just 10 minutes of bad takes on Logan Paul. I almost wanted to structure the video around it, but the problem is, he never addresses any of Logan's recent sins. He mentions them in passing as if they're good things that we should be praising him for. For most of this article, the argument is essentially that he's good because he does a lot of stuff and is nice now. And he comes with the proof that Logan does a lot of stuff. No argument there. I mean, I could argue whether this music is really worth praising as a legitimate venture, if it's just another YouTuber jerking off into a microphone for money, but I'm not gonna argue that he's not active. He's constantly doing new stuff. It's not good, but he's definitely doing it. From my perspective, this article reads as a guy trying to sell Logan Paul and constantly shooting himself in the foot. Here, he calls him the next Joe Rogan. Here, he admits that Logan was partially responsible for the Pokemon card bubble. Here he talks about Logan setting up some parasocial digital fan club. Here he talks about how Logan and Jake were just kids from Ohio growing up in the mean streets of Cleveland, panhandling on the corner for likes and subs. This is a misrepresentation at best. Jake famously told Snoop Dogg that he came from nothing, and this is the story the Paul brothers and this weird adult Logan fanboy would have you believe. But someone who grew up with them disputes this, saying that not only were they, comfortable, Jake was also a fucking asshole back then. I mean, they weren't even from Cleveland, they're from an affluent suburb. But for some reason, this guy hears Ohio and thinks, oh, they're self-made. They didn't have anything handed to them. I mean, what could you possibly even hand them when they live in Ohio? Corn? Dirt? This is a section on authenticity. So what the author does is he says, authenticity is key, then repeats some misrepresentation of their origin story, then says that lie proves that Logan is authentic. It just occurred to me with how unflinchingly positive this article is that it might be bought and paid for by you-know-who. I don't know, I'll read some excerpts and you can decide whether or not you think that might be true. I started off by checking out his podcast, Impulsive. It's actually incredible. He's criminally underrated as a pioneer in the world of entertainment. The Wikipedia entry for Logan Paul describes him as a YouTuber, internet personality, actor, podcaster, and boxer. The title that's missing is entrepreneur. Logan Paul's commercial for the Maverick brand is one of the best ads I have ever seen. Check it out below. He really does just uncritically promote all of Logan Paul's ventures one by one. If this article wasn't paid for, then this is kind of fucking pathetic. But he still can't produce any compelling evidence of Logan's reformation. The only semi-concrete examples of his morality come in one sentence. He began rehabilitating his image through work with charities on suicide prevention and a slew of other good deeds. He links a video by Patty Galloway, who, by the way, made a quick video for our team at Legal Eagle to discuss thumbnail best practices, and his advice was great, but I mean, this is the guy I'm taking thumbnail advice from. The Patty video also makes brief reference to some nebulous good deeds, but his thesis is not that Logan has morally redeemed himself. It's that Logan is good at playing YouTube. In fact, he quite clearly says,
Now, I'm not saying Logan is some charitable philanthropist who we should all aspire to be,
but it's impressive how he clawed his way back, which I agree with. It definitely is impressive that he managed to trick some people into thinking he's not a bad person. And Patty's goal was to simply analyze his business technique. In his video, though, he does show Logan putting a bow on a car, and it seems many people who are affiliated with Logan Paul end up getting cars. Doubtless a kind thing to do for an employee, a brother, a father, a subscriber, but not actually doing much, especially because it's just a drop in the lake of his wealth. If he spends $1 million to build a nothing burger NFT scam and $5 million to speculate on Pokemon cards, I'm not going to be terribly impressed by him buying some expensive cars for people in videos that probably made him more money than the cars cost. It ultimately is just more charity porn. He's doing it for views and PR, more than for kindness. Aw, look, he's apologizing to his brother with a truck. If anyone deserves a brand new set of wheels, it's definitely Jake.
Your videos are awesome. They make me want to sing.
Something you hear a ton is, well, he's not as bad as Jake. Now, this I probably agree with. We all know if this video was about Jake Paul, it'd be twice as long. Jake Paul has no redeeming qualities. He's a completely unhinged rapist PDF file who's never faced adversity in his life, with a crypto scam portfolio that absolutely dwarfs Logan's. I want to make this section pretty short too. I don't even want to get into all the stuff that Jake has done, so just Google it and come back in 14 hours when you're done reading the short version. Hey, welcome back. So remember all that stuff you just read? Well, don't worry. It hasn't gotten in the way of his relationship with Logan, and they're still best bosom buddies. Fuck me, best bosom buddies. And they're still best bosom buddies. They quarrel from time to time, but not about anything legitimately important. The worst thing I can find that Logan has said about Jake in recent history is that Jake gets beaten up by Logan's sparring partners. A profound skewering of Jake's immoral behavior, to be sure. So, Logan constantly enables Jake to continue to harass and hurt people, even though he himself is not as bad as Jake.
Keep on making me laugh. Keep up with your vlogs.
Let's go back to that article for just a second. One sentence he sort of throws out with no self-awareness is that we can all agree that everyone, even Logan Paul, deserves a shot at redemption. Firstly, not true that everyone agrees about that. Second, even if you do think that everyone deserves forgiveness in a broad sense, cosmic redemption is different than just letting people keep their positions because they promise they'll be better. Sure, maybe everyone deserves forgiveness, but not everyone deserves reinstatement. If he was legitimately repentant, sure, we could forgive him on an individual level, but he abused his power, and giving him even more power is not what his forgiveness should look like. This is all, of course, hypothetical, because he would actually have to stop doing all the terrible things he does before he deserves any shot at redemption. Either way, tell me this. Why does this man deserve to keep his place as an internet celebrity? Just because he's less bad than his brother or his former self? People keep making excuses for him. Oh, he's not as bad. Sure, maybe not as bad, at least outwardly, but he's still a bad person who exploits his fans for money. He doesn't deserve absolution. He should be deplatformed, not celebrated for being terrible instead of horrible. But Danny, shouldn't we be encouraging him to get better? No, we should be encouraging him to fuck off. He doesn't offer us anything of value that other better people couldn't offer us, and no one should be saying kind words about him just because it's been a few years since he's made fun of a corpse. I'm sure I missed a ton of bad stuff he's done too, because this was literally just the incidents I knew off the top of my head. So if you know more, definitely leave a comment. And for the fans, I know I'm not going to change your mind, but please, at the very least, heed this advice. Do not give this man your money. Feel free to tell me I'm wrong in the comments and list all the great charitable things Logan's done purely out of the kindness of his own heart and not the covering of his own ass. Who knows, you might even turn me into a maverick.
They are truly special. They lift me off my feet. Logan, you are my hero.